Well, greetings everyone. Thanks for tuning in to Topic UFO. On today's episode, we're going to be speaking to Mr. Aros Crystos in regards to an upcoming event there in Los Angeles on October 4th, 5th, and 6th, in just a couple of weeks. The event being the Alchemy Event 2013. It's going to take place at the Radisson there at LAX, and we'll be getting all that type of information, specific information anyway, from Mr. Crystos here. So let's go ahead and just bring him on. Mr. Crystos, are you out there?
Yes, I am. Thank you.
So, may I call you Aros?
Of course, absolutely.
All right, Aros. So, I've seen a lot on the internet about these or the Alchemy event. What is this event all about?
Well, I mean, the word alchemy is transformation. If you think about the philosopher's stone turning everything it touches into gold, that's really what alchemy is all about. And these various speakers and this entire event is about creating an opening for people to really see in a very tangible way that we are shifting and changing into a new paradigm, a new way of understanding who we are and understanding this galaxy and ultimately the universe. And I think it's designed in such a way that it's not just from the scientific point of view, it's also from a more spiritual point of view, and there's also going to be music, dance, and performances. So it's like a smorgasbord of different ways of introducing this new energy that we really are experiencing right now and not being intensified moment by moment.
Well, I can say one thing. We definitely need to be transforming into something better, don't we? The way the world's going.
Well, it's the way I perceive it, because I have done spiritual work my whole life. We are already perfect, whole, and complete. Right now, I have a saying, we're all divine, multi-dimensional beings. It's just that we've had a veil over our consciousness, our understanding, and that veil is now being removed more and more. So people are spontaneous and in a very natural way awakening, and they might not really have a point of interest or a point of reference what is really taking place. However, they feel something, they experience something, and it's rumbling all through the entire world and the human consciousness at large.
Yeah. Excuse me. I want to get to some of the speakers that I see are going to be attending here, but before we do that, I'd like to learn a little bit more about you, if we could. One thing that caught my eye was this connection between humans and dolphins. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, how many weeks do we have?
We've got about 28 minutes.
Well, that's...
Give us an overview.
Yeah, but it's basically a brief interview into the dolphins. Well, dolphins are... First of all, I've been swimming and playing with them in the open ocean in Hawaii off and on for 15 years. And needless to say, I've had many, many powerful experiences, and people that I brought to the dolphins have had some very, very, soul-searching feelings and experiences around the dolphins and the openings and things like that. However, the dolphins are multidimensional travelers, and they're here on the planet just for this simple reason, to help people access who they are and for people to remember that the human being can live as well in the water as on land. And it also has to do with Atlantis. When Atlantis and Lemuria were submerged underwater, the entire drama around that created a rip in the human consciousness. And so what had to happen is that many people came back later as dolphins to heal this memory. And now, at this point in time, many people who are very interested in dolphins or drawing dolphins or have dolphin jewelry, or I mean, there are people from all over the world coming to watch and interact with dolphins and whales, and it's because they have now awakened and remembering more about the history of Atlantis and Lemuria. And the dolphins has been there also to bring people back into the ocean, so people are not scared of the water and scared of the depth of the ocean, because it's really the depth of our own soul. Now, one of the first messages I got from the dolphins was that where there is true love, shapes and forms disappear, and left is only our smile. And not only these poetic messages, however, once you connect to the dolphins, you start connecting to the larger picture of the galaxy. You start connecting to what I call my galactic family, which are beings that are living in other parts of the galaxy in different frequency and vibrations, if you like. And they have been around the planet for a long, long time, supporting us in a way that we still had to wake up and understand who we are. However, they've been overseeing the entire the progress for a long time, and they cannot just interact or kind of change anything without we are ready for it. So the dolphins have been a huge part of that to make people ready for the shifts and the changes.
Well, let me ask you, because of course the name of this program is Topic UFO.
Right.
You just spoke about these, multidimensional beings, different frequencies of beings.
Mm-hmm.
How do you relate that, or does it relate to the massive amounts of UFO sightings that are being seen lately? These orbs of energy. People are saying that they're seeing these bright orbs of energy and stuff. Is that all tied in? Is that part of this galactic family subject?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, back in Sweden in 1957, I saw my first UFO in our newspaper, our daily newspaper, and it was, of course, a big event, 1957 in Sweden. However, in the meantime, I don't like to call it UFO. I rather call it UFO, identified flying object. And so again, the terminology here, what we use, I think is really important, because these starships or these light ships are certainly connected to this entire phenomena. And these beings that I call our galactic family, we are part of them. It's just that we have forgotten, and that's why they are here to help us remember, because no matter how we look at this, Mother Earth is a living organism and living being, and she is moving ahead into her next evolution, being a fifth-dimensional planet again. And so we have a tremendous opportunity now to kind of travel with her into the next understanding. But in order for us to do that in a conscious way, we need the support. And the support now from our galactic family is getting more and more obvious, because there are enough human beings that have awoken to the understanding who they are, so they can hold the frequency of vibration or like a portal for other people to walk through and be assisted as well. So for me right now, without our galactic family and without what the dolphins and the whales have accomplished through all of these years, we would have been even more lost than we currently are.
Wow. Now, are the dolphins the only mammal that is tied into this galactic family, or are all animals? I guess it's all tied in at some point, right? But I guess the dolphins are just a specific reincarnation of humans or something? I'm trying to understand this completely.
Right. Well, dolphins and whales are basically cetaceans, and these beings, they come from a different consciousness, if you like. They already are living in a state of unconditional love. And I said they're multidimensional travelers. They understand who they are, and they know the purpose why they are here. So they are directly connected with what I call the galactic family. Other animals, on one level, we're all one because it's all one divine consciousness. However, from the point of view in this journey, in this adventure that we're all traveling through and a part of, the dolphins and the whales are very conscious of who they are and why they are on the planet. Now, the whales are supposedly, I certainly don't have a scientific proof for this, however, supposedly because of their singing in the oceans, they maintain a certain vibration. They also maintain that we can procreate on this planet. So sounds and vibrations is the next level of understanding, that everything starts with sound and vibration and frequencies, and everything that exists has a certain vibration, and the dolphins through their clicking sound and the whales through their singing has awoken many, I mean, I don't know how many thousands and thousands of people to the understanding of who they are.
Right. And, I've heard stories of say, children with some type of mental issues or, retardation or something like this. They can get in the water with these dolphins, and it's almost like they communicate. They're able to communicate with these dolphins better than they can with human beings.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
Sorry.
No, please go ahead.
So they are proven that autistic children, scientifically proven, that when they are interacting with the dolphins, something happens in their brain that basically aligns the brain to the children or to these people to become more normal, quote unquote, whatever normal means, right? Because sometimes you look at things, if this is normal, I don't know. However, the dolphins treat them from a place of perfection, and because of that, the child in question dropped their guard. And when they drop their guard, the dolphins can then infuse them with these energies or this pure intent, how the way the dolphins operate in their natural habitat and natural way. And because of that, there are many miracles happening when autistic children interact with dolphins. Humans, on the other hand, we look at everything as separate, and we look at things, this person is this or this person is that. And because we look at people in these ways, the person in question experience that as well, and in many times we close up. I mean, imagine you go into a room where everybody would look at you in a strange way, you probably would close up and feel very uncomfortable, and you wouldn't necessarily open your heart and share your most sacred feelings with these people, right?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
However, with the dolphins, you feel totally encouraged to be who you are and share from that place, and that's when the healing takes place. Because once the heart opens up, and once there's recognition, healing happens actually spontaneously. So the dolphin facilitates that.
So as human beings, does a lot of our problems emanate from the fact that we have an ego and most animals don't, or most living things don't?
Well, the ego, there's a saying called ease God out. I mean, the ego is basically our storyline, Rick. We identify with being our story, whatever that is. I'm a male, I'm a female, I'm this and I'm that, whatever that includes, right? And as long as I identify with that being real, I really don't understand who I am. I don't live from my heart. I don't live from the understanding that I am consciousness, that I'm energy. So when I identify with the ego, there's cause and effect, and there's karma. Once I transcend the ego and understand who I am, all of that vanishes, because I realize that whatever I do to somebody else, I really do to myself. Whatever I do to the oceans, I really do to myself. So when I awaken to that, my understanding shifts, and my way of looking at things and approaching life as such shifts as well. And because of that, I create a very different dynamic in my life. I come from a place of deeper understanding, and other people will receive that as well, pretty much like the dolphins again. I mean, if you treat a person who is sick as a sick person, he or she will experience more of that. However, if you treat him as a healthy, abundant person who has a problem right now, they will experience that as well. That's why I don't like hospitals, because hospitals treat people from sickness, not from health. So when I change my understanding and transcend these limitations that the ego has put on ourselves, or we put on ourselves actually, everything shifts. I mean, it's because it simply has to. It's a vibration. It's an energy, right?
Right. Very interesting. Getting back to the galactic family, if you will. We've spoken many times on this program about extraterrestrial beings, interdimensional beings, and we've talked about some of them being nice and some of them being not so nice. What are your thoughts on that, or experience on that, as far as, are there bad beings out there? Are there bad frequencies?
Well, again, it's a very fair question. And at the same time, when you change your understanding, it's not as valid anymore. With other words, for me personally, I don't fear these beings, or, the Anunnakis or the Greys or whatever, reptilians. I don't fear them, because for me, I see them as part of myself, as part of my own consciousness.
I see.
And again, as long as I see a separation, yeah, there are other beings that are maybe not as well-meaning as others. However, again, it comes back to the understanding that who I am. So when I understand who I am, I don't start looking at things from that level anymore. I start understanding that everything is an expression of that same energy. And when I see, then I transcend all these other lower vibrations and frequencies, and I can see them and I can recognize them, but I don't necessarily need to interact with them, and I don't have fear of them. Instead, my focus is on the benevolent ones, the beautiful ones, the good ones that are here really to support us.
Right.
So it comes back to the person in question. Who do I see in the mirror? What do I really perceive? And my perception, like a great master said, you want to change anything in the world, change the prescription of your glasses. And
very true.
And that's really where it boils down to. So if I focus on all these bad beings, or these are they're going to harm us, blah, 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 well, then I stay within that consciousness. If I focus on this transformation is very positive, and there are great galactic beings out there here to support us, when that becomes my focus, the other thing vanishes, because it's a different vibration.
Gotcha. Got you. Very interesting. So I wanted to touch on one subject here, the galactic orgasm design. Am I pronouncing that correctly? Am I reading that correctly?
Yes, you are, and as if you have, yes, and that's my clothing line. As you maybe seen, my clothes are full of colors and full of the earth and full of the elements. They bring a lot of joy to people, and we actually did muscle testing on them. When you wear these clothes, you're more centered and you feel stronger than if you just wear plain clothes or black clothes. So, and the name Galactic Orgasm Design is a play of words, because in a sense, we're all looking for that joy and that happiness in everything we do. And so it's a play of words, and to get people to kind of take themselves a little bit lighter and be more playful with themselves, pretty much like dolphins. I mean, dolphin energy is very playful and very sensual, if you like, and very giving and just a lot of fun, basically.
Good.
And so that's what it's a play of words to get people to kind of say, why? What's galactic orgasm in science?
It's hard not to ask what that is, isn't it?
Well, yes, it is, but it's the joy, it's the beauty, it's the spontaneity, it's the love that exists within all of us.
Right. Understood.
Yeah.
So we're before we get over, I want to talk about the event, but I want to touch just quickly on the fact that I see you're an award-winning vocalist as well as an author.
Mm-hmm.
What's all that about? What can you tell us about that, Aros?
Well, 2007, I won for the most transformational artist LA Music Awards, and and what I do, I use my voice for healing and transformation. With other words, I allow myself to be a vehicle for these very, again, vibrations and frequency comes through me, and I have literally seen miracles happening. I mean, again, you can go to my website, aroscrystos.com, and check it out, but I have had miracles happening with people, both spiritually and mentally and physically, and it brings me great joy to see that these frequencies and sounds that comes through me allow people to really have a very tangible experience. And being an author, I've written a couple of books, Time is Promised to No One, and Embracing Aloha, and the continuation of Time is Promised to No One, Conductor of Time, which will come out very shortly, sometime I think in the fall here. And it's all about consciousness again, written as novels. Embracing Aloha is about a real education about Hawaii as an adventure story. And Time is Promised to No One is in understanding that time is really not promised to anyone, and the time we have right now, living in the moment, is all we really have. But it's written as a love story, as a novel, and so it's easily digested. And that's, again, all that I do is helping people to understand who they are, and so they can grow and gain an insight with respect to who they are in their station in life, and really start loving themselves, and that's really all that I do in various ways.
You just touched on something that made me want to ask you one last question here before we get to the event. Last night, actually, I was watching a 1962 French film entitled La Jetée. And basically it's about time travel. What are your thoughts on time travel? Do you believe that that's a possibility?
Oh, it's more than no. It's more than a possibility. I mean, you can physically time travel, but you can also go sit in meditation and time travel. But if you go from a physical point of view, because time again is not a linear thing. If anything, time is a hologram or even is a circle. So it's the way we have understood time has kept us in this place that, you can't time travel. Absolutely you can, because everything happens in the divine now, and if you take the divine now and expand it, then it could expand itself into the future, into the past. However, it still happens in the divine now, and because of that, you can travel back in time or travel back into the future, or you can travel into the future. It's very, very possible, and we are awakening to that realization right now as the veil is being removed more and more.
Wow, that is fascinating subject in itself. Mm-hmm. Well, listen, we're getting down a little bit on time, so I want to make sure we allow enough minutes here to talk about this upcoming Alchemy Event 2013. Coming up on October 4th, 5th, and 6th at the Radisson Hotel, or I guess it's the Radisson Hotel there at LAX.
Yes.
and I'll put up the address for everyone to see. Now, I understand you're going to have lectures, panels, exhibits, healing, meditation, networking, music, and food. And it looks like you're going to be there speaking about this galactic human dolphin connection. What else can you tell us about this upcoming event, Aros?
Well, as I mentioned in the beginning of our interview here, Rick, alchemy, it's about transforming. And right now in our time, I mean, there's so many things are happening all around us, and not just on the planet itself, but outside the planet, in the galaxy. And it's good to have insights from different ways that people are looking at it. And there's going to be a variation of speakers and scientists and more spiritual oriented people, and people are coming more from a performing point of view. But it all adds up to one thing, and it's to help people understand what is happening right now. Because the shifts and the changes that are taking place right now are tremendous. They are happening on so many different levels. And even though they might not be fully explained in the mass media, they're still happening, and people are learning to extract the information in various ways and in different understandings. And so this alchemy conference or alchemy gathering is very important, that people come and really immerse themselves in these understandings, because it will allow them to see something different. They will allow them to open up to understand when they see the next news or they see something happening, that they have clarity. And it's not about fear and anxiety and separation. It's really about joining hands now and become brotherhood of man and understanding we are all part of this. We are all part of one another, and we are all part of what I again come back to, our galactic family, and that will be emphasized here. So it's a great opportunity, and the timing is perfect. So I would recommend people, if you can't come 3 days, don't miss it. Choose whatever you want to listen to and come and at least do that, because it's going to be a phenomenal event either way.
So I take it that somebody that is very much into this would enjoy it, but on the other hand, somebody who might be a newcomer to it would find it enlightening as well, huh?
Oh, absolutely. There's no question about that. That's what I'm saying. There are different people who comes from different angles, but it's guided so anybody can gain some clarity and some joy out of it.
Excellent. Well, it sounds like it's going to be quite an event. Again, that's going to be on October 4th, 5th, and 6th, coming up here in just a couple of weeks at the Radisson LAX. And it's going to be going on from 8:30 a.m. to 11:30 p.m. each day. So I know if you go out to the website, there's just a plethora of different speakers that are going to be there, speaking on just all sorts of different types of topics. So it should be something for everybody, I would say. Well, listen, Aros, thank you so much for taking the time to come speak with us today. Very much appreciated. And I wish you the best of luck on the upcoming event, and I hope it's a big success.
Well, thank you so much, Rick, for having me on your show, and it's wonderful what you're doing, because, again, it's very important to add to the entire picture, and you're certainly doing that. So it was my honor and really pleasure to be here today. Thank you so much for inviting me.
Well, you're very welcome. Very welcome. All right, Aros, you have a beautiful rest of a Sunday morning or afternoon or whatever time it is, and we will keep in touch with you, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thank you so much, Rick. You as well. Have a beautiful Sunday.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
answer is to